The Comedy Grinder. Streaming live worldwide from the First Church of Cannabis. Tonight, Diesel Reeves, Colton Cole, Leslie Battle, and your MC, Gary Warren.
But yeah, it's really kind of interesting. My 23-year-old wants to relate to mom like an adult. And he's like, hey, mom, you know, me and the guys are going to get some liquor. Why don't you come hang out with us? Well, baby, I got divorced about 6 years ago, and that's exactly when I ran out of self-control, okay? So, unless you've already figured out which one you're the most comfortable calling dad, why don't we just table that idea until everybody's 30 and nobody cares? Right now, it just might be a little too soon. And I mean, let's be honest, I already know I'm on Brandon's bucket list. He was the first one I asked, so don't do that. Don't. And people ask me silly questions like, well, Leslie, you know, you and these young guys, doesn't that make you a cougar? Well, honey, I'm brown and some places I'm fuzzy. I don't understand why there's a question there. That's exactly what a cougar is. Everybody listens to Jack Hanna. It's not really rocket science. It's not. And I have to admit, I kind of have a thing for white guys. Is that weird? Is that odd? Let's face it, I live in Central Ohio. Guess what there's a bumper crop of? White guys, all right? That's not prejudice or perversion. That's just math, okay? That's called probability. Just hedging my bets. That's all that is. So funny because Colton was talking about, you know, you have hillbillies popping up in your family tree and all this kind of stuff. I actually have a special place in my heart for hillbillies because they're like the only guys that I can trust when they're just like, well, you know, I've never been with a black girl before. Yeah, I believe it. You're probably real progressive where you come from there, dude. Whatever. Let's do this. I'm awful, but it's fun. But you know, my trials with dating and everything, I've learned a lot. I've learned that you can learn a lot about a man just by looking at his hands. You know, if his skin is really rough, maybe he's outdoorsy or he works, you know, a really, you know, laborious job. Or if he's got like a manicure, maybe he works in an office, makes a lot of money. Or if he's got a tan line on his left ring finger, he's probably really down to fuck. But you got to be careful when you catch those because they just might be really paying a lot of alimony still. But timing. Yeah, divorces. Gary talked about divorce a little bit. I think, you know, many of us in the room have been through one. I actually went through one. My ex is a German-Irish guy. I say he's the whitest white man in America because with him I have blue-eyed babies. Go figure that out. I'm in the delivery suite like, I might need a maternity test. Is that a thing? Because I'm not the only one that's going to have questions about these little buggers, okay? I call them my little chocolate chips. Is that racist? Sure, it's not. Because I'm the black one. But,
This world has been spinning for centuries. It's got billions of people walking around it, but not one of us knows exactly why we're here, right? I mean, we know how we got here, but that's about it. I bet some of you were conceived at a ZZ Top concert, right? And let me just tell you this right now. For some of you, making a baby wasn't on your parents' to-do list. Let's face it, some of us were just a mistake with a cute name that your parents learned to accept over time. Because your dad was the high school player who just went through life fucking everything he could with no commitment, and he gets the concert tickets for ZZ Top in '82, and he goes to the concert high on acid, just looking for some tush. and the acid starts to wear off after so many hours, and he's thirsty. He needs to get hydrated. So he goes to the bar, and there she is, your mother. And he's going, man, she's got some legs and she knows how to use them. So, make the long story short, during Give Me All Your Lovin', your parents put a bun in the oven.
The music, and one of the good things about working in the casino is they pipe in all this music from different eras. But I really don't think that music from like the 50s and 60s is that, like, everybody wants to make like it's so much more wholesome than modern music, but I don't think that's the case. Like, there's this one song and the guy says, "You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine." Everybody knows that song, right? They use it in commercials. Anybody else concerned that that dude doesn't sound 17? Because I'm just kind of like, really? Everybody's all worked up about Jared Fogle, but Jerry Lee Lewis was in that business. I'm not going to talk about Jerry Lee Lewis. No need to rehash that. Mary Wilson has a very popular song. No muscle-bound man can take me away from my guy. No handsome face would ever take the place of my guy. Mary, you just called your dude ugly and skinny. That's some passive-aggressive bullshit right there. Wonder why all you get is cubic zirconia for your anniversary. Try a little tenderness, bitch, okay? I mean, damn. That's so cold. It's just so cold. But my favorite song, my favorite one. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour when there's no one else around. I'm gonna take you, girl, and hold you and do all the things that I told you in the midnight hour. Classic song, right? Okay, first of all, dude don't want any witnesses. He wait until the middle of the night, honey. If your Tinder date starts off with him serenading you with that song, you might want to go. I bet he's got some duct tape in the trunk.
I love the VHS porn because there was like it was like a scavenger hunt, right? And it was always, the tape was always unlabeled, right? But it had 3 X's carved right in it, like you're sketching tree bark. It was always at the end of the row of the Mickey's Wish Upon a Christmas and those orange Nickelodeon tapes. And you finally get your palm on the tape and you're like, oh! And it was like the forbidden fruit. You know, maybe that's why the world's so fucked up, because everybody was watching VHS porn. Now, you pop it in and you're like, wow, I want to do that. There were a lot of cons to the VHS porn. Like, for instance, there was like always like a hissing, so you couldn't hear moaning, and the tracking was bad, so you couldn't see your titty. The worst part about it was sometimes the tape would get eaten by the VCR. That always sucked because the tape got off before you did. True story.
I was actually dating a gentleman older than me, 54 years old, 4 adult kids, 9 grandkids, white dude from Arkansas, you know, because that's kind of my jam. And was it weird of me to be stoked about being Grandpa's black girlfriend? Because I thought that was amazing. I could not wait for Easter. I've never cooked chitlins in my life, but there was going to be a big pot on the menu this year. But things didn't work out. He was all wanting to get in the whole 50 Shades thing. Now, understand, when I first saw the title of that book, I thought it was going to be about an interracial couple that had a lot of kids, so I was way off on that one. And he's just like, oh, no, we should try it. We should. And I'm just like, baby, you need to understand. My people have been over bondage for over 200 years. We're not trying to bring that shit back. I just love the reaction I get to that joke because nobody has a problem with me fucking my son's friends. But then I start talking about slavery, and it's like too soon. But he was real insistent about it. He's like, no, it'll be great. All we need is a good safe word. What the fuck is wrong with ouch? Okay? Because I can tell you right now, if you get me there, you have already gone way left to center with your plan, my friend. And to be honest with you, I think it's kind of a dick move to give me something like rutabaga, because if I can't feel my toes, I'm not going to remember that bullshit. Come on now. Rude.
So in life, life usually gives you, two choices. You lose one, you choose one. For me, those two options were video games and weed. I had to give up one and keep the other. Well, I'm in the Church of Cannabis, so. But the video games had to go. They had to go, man, because you don't realize how immature you sound when you explain your weekend full of video games, you know what I'm saying? You walk into work Monday morning. Hey, Diesel, man, how was your weekend? Man, I'll tell you how my weekend was, man. My left tackle tore his ACL. My wide receiver dropped 4 passes. Both of my cornerbacks got roasted for 100 yards. And on top of that, my quarterback threw 4 interceptions, man. How you think my weekend went? Hey, man, I didn't know you coach football. Man, I don't. It's Madden NFL 2016. Every night at my mom's house. You're more than welcome to come and play. Cookies and juice will be served.
I actually deal cards in a casino. That's my job. I deal blackjack in a casino, which is a great job for me. I mean, where else can I ask random dudes, hey, you want to hit that and not get in trouble with HR? Daily. It's kind of awesome. And of course, I have had those situations where players say things and they don't really think about what they're saying. Like one day I came up to my table and my shift starts at 3 in the morning, okay? So these are folks who have already been here for a while. And one of the players says, oh, it's Leslie. We haven't had you yet. And I'm like, I just got here. Can you give me a minute? Of course, then I had this one instance where I had this young man. And sometimes you end up just playing one player at a time. And he was just this gorgeous, tall drink of water, and he was polite, and everything just makes me lose my mind. And so he puts a $25 chip on the table, slides it towards me, makes eye contact, and says, can you break me? Look, Skippy, I will have the heartiest of heart attacks trying, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm probably only good for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to need a lot of uppers.
She said, Gary, I'm not feeling too comfortable. I said, Mother, it's okay. It's hot outside. Well, about another hour or so, she went on talking and talking and talking. Would not shut the fuck up, let me tell you. Would not. And then the worst thing was, she went to the extreme of telling so much honesty stuff that actually I got to find out where each 10 of us kids were conceived. Wow, that was fucking freaky. So be careful if you give your medibles to your parents and such. If you don't want to hear the truth, get the fuck out of there. Thank you.
But I have to admit, though, my kids are so awesome. I mean, let's face it. When you see a child with pale skin and blue eyes and an afro, that fucks your mind up, don't it? And it was just wonderful to watch, okay? When white people aren't around brown people, they get real confused around beige people, and it's just amazing to see. But I mean, honestly, I got to the point where I was just like, do I get like a certificate or something? Because I can't have the popo getting called every time I want some Krispy Kremes. That's just not efficient, okay? Even if they were already there before I got there, that's not the point. It's not an Amber Alert. Everybody calm down. And, of course, you do have people with questions, and they're looking at me and looking at my kids and looking at me again, and then they're just like, well, you're the nanny. What's happening here? I know, right? That sounds really insulting at first, doesn't it? But let's think about it for a minute. Unemployment's been really high lately. At least their assumption is that this sister has a job. And honestly, how bad of a person can I be if that job involves me being trusted with somebody's little white kids? Okay. They aren't thinking that I'm one of those ghetto hoes, all right? That's not. Nothing against ghetto hoes. I would love to be one.
I'm not understanding all these graduations, too. Kindergarten graduation, 5th grade graduation, 6th grade. Kindergarten to 1st grade. Yay, wonderful. Now, next year you can do shapes, but now you can do letters, and you can form those letters into words. And what's the point of graduation? Okay, it's just a transition. They don't need to be congratulated. Here's 3 months of summer vacation. See you in September. Don't get stupid, all right? That's how it should be. That's graduation for you right there. Boom, goodbye. Get out of my face. Tell your mother I said hello. I'll come over and cut her grass.
Actually won my first dildo about a year ago. I know, right? Joining the 21st century, right? It's really kind of interesting because I didn't know how blessed I was, not so much for receiving the dildo, but bear with me. So there's all these care products for personal toys. Those of you who are familiar, there's cleaners, there's a special bag I can put it in, all this kind of stuff to take special care of my personal toy. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I've got the whole food, shelter, transportation thing figured out if I'm worried about whether or not my coochie's gonna get linty, all right? I'm just saying that is definitely a first world problem. And my question is, so who was the first person who realized that they wanted a special bag to put their dildo in? Because I'm gonna guarantee you that chick was not crafty at all. So she's having lunch with her buddy Lyndon. She's like, well, I've got this toy. You make such great mittens for the kids. I was just hoping.
I had a date that I thought was going to be promising, so I went to the mall to get some clothes, and I picked out my pants and my shirt, everything, and I went up to the counter, and the lady at the store goes, "Oh, you like Dickies?" And I said, "No, I like vaginas."
Everybody gets all worked up about Valentine's Day. Anybody see those commercials for the 4-foot teddy bears this year? I don't know if it's just this year, but those things are the most aggravating thing to me. Because basically at the end of it, you got this guy handing this 4-foot teddy bear to the girl because he's too lazy to go to a carnival and earn one the old-fashioned way. And he turns around and he looks at the camera like, yeah, I'm going to get some. You know who's not going to order a 4-foot teddy bear? A dude who's going to get some, okay? I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but women are strong as fuck when it comes to blankets, okay? So if he's already fighting her for the last corner of the duvet, yes, he calls it a duvet, then he's not gonna throw a 4-foot teddy bear in the middle of that. That is not a thing a dude is gonna do, all right? But you know who might order a 4-foot teddy bear? 45-year-old divorcee who doesn't want a fucking cat. I got 3 of them bitches, okay? I'm good. I'm so good.
Great Mexican food, by the way, in Phoenix. Bit of advice. Don't go to like the big chain stores. Those are the worst ones to go to. You want to go to like the hole in the wall, the big dumps. If you pull up in the parking lot and it looks like you can get shanked, stabbed, and robbed and a dime bag all at the same time before you get to the front door, that's the place you want to eat. That is, if they're bragging, if Uncle Choo Choo was bragging about the sea health inspection, forget the rats on the floor, man. You better eat that burrito. You better eat that burrito, man.
So Janet Jackson's gonna have a baby at 50 years old. More power to you, Janet. I think that's awesome. But I heard a DJ on the radio say, well, I hope she has a little boy and names it Michael because that way they can get the Jackson 5 back together. okay, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. First of all, you know, the Jacksons are a pretty big family, and most of them are musically talented, and that's amazing, right? But wouldn't probability dictate that somebody in the gene line is going to be like a math savant and just really good at taxes? I mean, why are you going to put that kind of pressure on that baby? Because Grandpa Joe don't have a reputation for a lot of patience for that sort of shit, okay? So
I went into the hospital, and my daughter was already born, and I walked up there, and the nurse said, "Would you like to hold her?" Sure. So I grabbed her like this, and I'm caressing her, and I'm just looking into her beautiful eyes. I'm looking at all fingers and toes, making sure that there's 10, not 11 or 12. And I'm thinking, what a beautiful child. And the realization set in. No, not the realization of being a father. The realization that I had to fucking deal with her mother the rest of my life.
it's funny because my friends get real concerned about me going out to like rural places to do shows because they're just like, well, aren't you afraid that people are going to treat you kind of different, you know? It's not the people that I have to worry about when I go out to the country. It's the deer, okay? Deer do not give a fuck, all right? And I'm driving up this curvy road and at dusk time, and my little Nissan, and Bambi, who is now a 12-point buck, is looking at me like, bitch, really, a Nissan? Are you serious right now? You better come back here with an F-150. You ain't doing nothing. No, I'm comfortable right here in the middle of this lane. I don't care where you got to be right now. Where's Thumper to make him do the right thing? Oh, yeah, I ran over Thumper in my weak little Nissan. Damn it.
Yeah, you do get mugged. Stuff happens in the church parking lot for real. Things happen in the. I saw a drug deal go down in the church parking lot for real, man. Dude took it out of his pocket and put it right in his customer's hands. The money was traded. It was a beautiful thing, man. Yeah, it was some good weed I smoked that day too. Pastor had it going on for real. Woo! I can see why Moses was burning. Talk to that bush, man. Burning the holy bush.
But no, I actually have kind of gotten into this whole idea of being kind to myself. You know, you got to learn how to love yourself before you can love others. The whole deal about taking myself out on dates, I'm all on board with that. I mean, let's face it, I only got to pay for one dinner. And there's not that whole awkward wondering if I'm going to put out later, because come on, I'm totally going to put out later. That's kidding me? And I was blessed with these man-sized hands to make it a little more realistic. I'm just saying, the universe speaks. I also drive for Uber. Any other Uber drivers? No? Yeah? I think it's the easiest way for a cougar to pick up young guys. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? And technically, if I'm dropping him off at a restaurant, I'm taking him out to dinner. So mama wants a kiss right here, okay?